You may think it doesn't matter, but do it anyways. Hey guys, we are launching a new series called It Matters. The reason that we're doing this series is because we're hearing over and over and over again, it doesn't matter. I'm not going to show up. It doesn't matter if I go. It doesn't matter if I vote. It doesn't matter if I get into the comments or talk to that person. It doesn't matter if I tell that person how I really feel. How many times a week are you hearing it doesn't matter? How many times are you thinking to yourself, does it even matter? Does it matter what I think, what I say, what I do? Well, I want to remind you something in the Bible. Matthew 5:16. In the same way, let your light shine before others, that they may see your good deeds and glorify your Father in heaven. You may not realize it, but what you're doing on a daily basis, even if it's going unrecognized or you don't know every single person that you're touching, you are inspiring somebody. You are motivating somebody. And God gave you what you have for a reason and for a purpose. And that purpose is not for you to keep it yourself. So, one poem that I love that I'm going to read to you guys, I want you to maybe break this down, listen to this over and over again. Do it anyway. People are often unreasonable, illogical, and self-centered. Forgive them anyway. If you do good, people may accuse you of selfish, ulterior motives. Do good anyway. If you are successful, you will win some false friends and some true enemies. Succeed anyway. Honesty and frankness make you vulnerable. Be honest and frank anyway. What you spend years building, someone could destroy overnight. Build anyway. If you find serenity and happiness, there may be jealousy. Be happy anyway. The good you do today, people will often forget tomorrow. Do good anyway. Give the world the best you have, and it may never be enough. Give the world the best you've got anyway. You see, in the final analysis, it is between you and God. It was never between you and them anyway. I want you to listen to that again and again and go line by line because it's so important. It's so important that we don't have a bad thing happen to us and then not show up the next day. Get back up and do everything that we can to be our best and do our best. You're seeing it every day with like the billionaires and the best at what they do, the GOATs. I talk about it all the time. You're seeing them go for it and they're getting ridiculed and they're getting, their places set on fire and whatever happens, do it anyways, because it's better that you go for it. Even if somebody's going to try to drag you back down, it's that you have that muscle memory so that when you get back up again to do it, you are going to get further and further along, especially if you have an intention that is aligned with what God wants for your life. So how many times do you have people say on key issues, it doesn't matter, right? We are going to ask you to give us the key issues that you want us to cover. These key issues, what I would define a key issue being, is something that you could change with either your action, your vote, or your voice, right? So there's some things, I get it. You can't change the whatever, like your height. You kind of can. But in general, there's things that you can't change that I get like, oh, it doesn't matter if I'm to this, to that, whatever. But there are so many things in your life right now that you're putting in the category of doesn't matter or I can't change when it's so false. It's not true. A small amount of people can literally change the world. If you've ever been part of a group where you've gotten money pooled together for a cause, you have realized that you don't need 1 million people. You don't need 1,000 people. You don't need 100 people. Sometimes you only need 4 or 5 people that have a massive need of generosity or something in their heart to be generous. And you can accomplish huge goals. I know tons of stories like that. I know that Brooke Thomas, one of my mentors, she had a very small group able to literally change the world somewhere by just a small amount of people pooling money together. What would happen if everyone felt this way? Everyone was like, I don't need to go help that homeless person, or I don't need to start that charity or start that organization, or is it really going to matter? Who's going to show up? Who's going to show up to help? Who's going to show up to make a difference? Who's going to donate? If everybody thought that way, think about how many things wouldn't be happening. Think about how many of the homeless people or orphans or people in foster care. Think about every single person that wouldn't have help right now if everybody had the attitude of, it doesn't really matter. What I say doesn't matter. What I do doesn't matter. How much I give doesn't matter. Don't they have enough? Isn't that another thing that happens with It Matters? They're like, there's enough people helping. There's enough money being donated. Doesn't the church have enough money? Seriously, do they need more? Yes. The need will be filled, right? God is going to place on your heart what he wants you to do with your time, what he wants you to do with your money. And if you do it, you will see the benefit. You're not doing it for that, but it's unbelievable what God does. If you bless others, God will bless you. And the reason that you're receiving blessings could be that there's something being put in your heart right now to help change the world. Yes, you with your $10, $100, $1,000, your 10 minutes of time, your hour of time, you can literally change the world and you matter. Ephesians 6:13. Therefore, put on the full armor of God so that when the day of evil comes, you may be able to stand your ground. And after you have done everything, to stand. Whatever it is doesn't really matter if you don't have it in your heart. It's like things like abortion, right? There are literally people who care enough about abortion that they're not trying to change what someone is able to do with their body. I think you need to hear that. They don't want to change what you're able to do with your body. They want to help you decide what you want to do with your body. So that when you are provided with an ultrasound and you can see that that is a real live baby with a heartbeat, that it might change something in you that makes you decide to keep the baby. So they're not saying no one should be able to. They're trying to change your heart. It's the same thing that God does with us every single day. Whether you think January 6th was a non-important day, or you think it was one of the most important days, what I want you to think about with that is if your friend, parent, family member, if somebody you knew was at January 6th and they were peaceful, they had an amazing time, they were there to support the president, they left, they came home, and then they were taken out of their bed at night, put in jail without due process, and they were there for years. Can you even imagine that? So it doesn't matter to you right now what happened on January 6th, but when it happens to somebody that you care about, then it matters, right? So why don't we start acting on some of the things that could matter, that could affect you, could affect me, could affect the people that you love? Because sometimes it's too late to start caring about something once it matters to you. We need to think about the things that matter overall. So the disinterest leads to inauthenticity, but it also is conformity, right? We're not protecting ourselves from the things that are so bad, and we're just thinking it doesn't matter until, oh my gosh, it matters. Think about what's happened with the school system and things like that. It's like, oh, is it really that bad? Is it really that bad? And now look, it's like needs a whole transformation. When if people started caring a long time ago, we might have had changes happening sooner, but it didn't seem like it mattered. Psalm 139:14. I praise you because I am fearfully and wonderfully made. Your works are wonderful. I know that full well. What God puts in your heart matters. You matter. What you say, what you speak, and who you help, it really does matter. So here's our future episodes. We want to make sure that we're covering the things that matter or that you think don't matter. So we'd love some comments. What matters to you? What didn't matter to you? And then something happened to you and now it matters big time. Like, what are the things that you would want us to cover on this series, It Matters? Because I'm telling you, if you don't stand for something, you're going to fall for anything, right? It's something that you already know. You've heard it a ton of times and it doesn't really matter to you until it's too late sometimes. So James 2:17, in the same way faith by itself, it is not accompanied by action, is dead. So you can go around saying you're a Christian, you can go to church, you can help a couple of organizations that, your family does or your friends or your work, your work all gets together on a certain day every year and helps people. But until you actually step up and start thinking about what really matters to you and what matters to your community, you're going to fall short. You're going to have a lot of words and not a lot of action. So what we want to do is we want to inspire you to take action on things that maybe right now you don't realize they matter. So I hope to see you in the comments for our future episodes. And until then, stay elevated. Hey guys, if you want to see more episodes like this, don't forget to like, subscribe, and follow. And we'd love to hear what you think. See you in the comments. And until then, stay elevated.